MeasuringHistory.com presents Paradox2140-Progress. This is one of a number of series on Paradox 2140. First of all, I would recommend watching the Neptune-Pluto paradox video that I created, and then you might want to also watch the 21st Century Enlightenment video, because there are some references to that, particularly at 7 minutes and 20 seconds when Ken Robinson asks, "What is progress?" Obviously, the names show similarity in the theme of progress, and the most important thing to remember from the Neptune-Pluto paradox series is that Neptune-Pluto have a cycle, or the wave lasts 495 years, so it changes every 495 years, and the paradox is related to issues accumulated during the last Neptune-Pluto cycle. So during the last Neptune-Pluto cycle, there's also reference to reason, enlightenment, and progress and secularism in the Ken Robinson video, and I actually call the paradox for the last Neptune-Pluto wave Neptune 1399, Neptune-Pluto 1892. I call that secularism. The reason why it's a paradox is because the people who went out to reform the church did so they didn't intend to introduce secularism into society. They wanted to reform the church because it had become corrupt, because it had come inept at serving the needs of the people, and the church was integrated into every form of society from birth to death, no matter which class you were in. So from secularism we got the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution in particular. The Industrial Revolution, of course, creates a lot of convenience, and it is also the system on which societies seek to thrive. Industrialism, that is. And so from that, we get the Paradox 2140 Progress, and each paradox actually has paradoxes under the main one. So in this case, we get science and technology, numerality, resources, information overload, sustainability, and one world. These are topics that we know as day-to-day issues. They are something that we're all concerned with, and everybody is familiar with. Now, I'm just going to go over a couple examples. We're going to go in and meet more detail in subsequent videos, but the two that I want to start are science and technology, and then numerality. Science and technology, most nations thrive to obtain it. Not every nation can. That's what is meant under the heading rich nation, poor nation. Using technology to fix technology's problems. One of the major themes of the paradox is, does the progress create more problems than it solves? For instance, with nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is a great way of boiling water to push turbines. What happens to the waste once we're done with the uranium? It has a half-life of hundreds of thousands of years, and therefore the system to maintain those wastes must be maintained for hundreds of thousands of years. So is that really progress? And also, just because we can doesn't mean we should. We can revel in inventions, etc., but that doesn't mean that just because it's available doesn't mean that we have to use it. Now, jumping forward to numerality, one of the headings under there is, can spirituality keep pace with science? In other words, can religions answer the questions that progress brings, such as in vitro fertilization? That's also relates to bioethics. Women can have children in their 50s and 60s, and it has happened because of in vitro fertilization. It's not against the law, but it seems that wouldn't be a good life for a child, to have a mother who's in their 50s or 60s. And also, one of the other main headings under numerality is women. A good example is the fact that women are now outpacing men in the U.S. academically, and I believe in Britain as well. Women are also increasingly becoming the chief breadwinner in the family. This, of course, will change the family dynamic. Men, we're going through what is called the man session, because a lot of jobs that men do, like construction, are going away. At least they are now. And so what's going to happen to the family dynamic when the woman is the chief breadwinner or the only breadwinner? How are men going to react? All of these are issues that we don't have answers to yet. And are women responsible for other women? What I mean by that is that do women automatically have to be feminists? Or do women have to bring up issues with women in other countries. Do women have to fight for the rights of women in other countries, such as Afghanistan, where the Taliban don't think women should be large parts of society? So again, these are issues that are not easily answered, and they will sustain themselves throughout the Neptune-Pluto cycle. And so just going over the overall, what the 6 paradoxes again: science and technology, new morality, resources is obviously going to be a very important one. We are rapidly running out of resources. At the same time, our populations are growing bigger and bigger. Information overload relates to not only the internet, but through cell phones, to the fact that information is very important, but are we actually getting information, or are we just getting data? Or are we just getting bits thrown at us, bits and bytes thrown at us without any real information coming through? Sustainability, that is a very big one. Who owns the ocean? What happens? Demographics is not just population control, but having enough young people to take care of older people's pensions. And also, are there going to be enough young people to do the jobs that only young people can do? And then lastly, one world. That's obviously, our world is now globalized, and a lot of the issues include the fact that all politics is local, but we live in a global world. How do local politicians deal with global issues? So the next video will go into more detail on each one of these 6 paradoxes. Now, these paradoxes are just my opinion. If you have different ideas, please leave comments on the Measuring History channel on YouTube. Also, of course, you can subscribe to the Measuring History page on Facebook, and definitely check out measuringhistory.com. And not only just check it out, but if you look on a lot of the topics, there are windows under a main window. These pop up with additional information. Some of those include videos. Also, if you see little icons that look like a page or a film next to a word, those also pop up. So it's a very rich experience over at Measuring History. And of course, please subscribe to the Measuring History channel on YouTube, and thanks for watching.